What the fuck is sleep? I don't even know what that is. Just pull me up over that tree. Hold up and watch that bitch feed.
Shout out What Sleep TV, man. What Sleep TV? Ain't no sleep, motherfucker.
You kind of touched on that, you know, the late 90s babies or maybe the early 2000s babies was like the last generation to, I can't remember exactly. Remember what you was talking about?
Going to church, you know, that community
aspect.
Oh, yeah,
having that community, right?
Yeah. Having to be inside before the street lights came on, shit like that. Aware before internet.
So I didn't have this, like, I didn't think of this until you said that. Okay. But I had a conversation with a rapper I know from Detroit. Well, it was actually a tweet. Mm-hmm. He said, I fear this generation of kids won't have any life skills because they only spend time in front of a tablet, phone, or video game. They don't even get time to sit and think, right?
Yeah.
Let me finish, though. I responded to that, and I said, maybe so, but I spent, like, I literally grew up on a computer. Like, I got my first computer when I was, like, 6, and, like, you know, that's part of the reason why I do what I do now. Cause, like, I spent most of my time on the computer, like, editing videos, all that type of shit. I've been doing that shit.
Right.
So, but I responded to that, and I said maybe so, but I spent the majority of my time behind the computer screen, and now I use those skills that I learned every day. Like, that's Photoshop. Like, all this shit is Photoshop, camera. Like, I use this shit every day. It's facts. And I said, on the bright side, there's ways you can make a living having technology skills, but I've always been a hard worker, so I guess it depends on the person.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to read the thread and keep it brief. Mm-hmm. But he said, I'm not knocking the use of technology to advance in society, which is valid.
Yeah.
He said the brain needs time to rest so you can build an imagination. Social/development skills for the adolescents is at an all-time low due to lack of being a child. And also technology isn't typically put in place for recreational use anymore. It's put in place mostly to make up for the time parents can't or don't spend being attentive to their children. So I know that's a lot in one.
That's deep.
But
that's deep.
You made me, both of what y'all said made me think we might have been the last generation to, because I mean, bro, like a lot of kids, like,
damn, that's deep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's interesting to think about. I went deep, probably like a little too. Maybe I won't say giving too much credit in, but now that's something to think about though. Yeah.
Do you think? What do you fear of this generation that's growing up on tablets and, you know, iPhones and shit like that? But look, let me say this though. Okay. I mean, I'm literally like, bro, you looking at me right now. Like, I feel like I turned out fine. I literally grew up on a computer. Like, instead of playing sports and shit like that, I ain't gonna lie, I was playing the game. You know what I'm saying? I was playing the game, or I'm on the computer. And you know, today you can stream video games, make a living. You know, if you good enough at it.
I mean, shit, niggas was making a living off the Madden when I was growing up. They had the whole like hop on the bus, tournament, 250,000. That was on ESPN too after the M1 show. You know, so
yeah.
I think I fear people not using these advances in technology to its fullest capability. Because even if you think that, like, what he was saying was not wrong, but even then, you know, we what they call it, YouTube University.
Yeah, I learned
you
a lot
can literally learn anything
on
YouTube. How to play the piano, how to build a treehouse. Like, all of that is there.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at the absolute worst, I think that's the biggest thing I fear with this generation. Because I mean, I'm kind of like still amongst it. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I was still in middle school. I was in middle school. Like, in middle school, finna go into high school when like Twitter first like pop. You know.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Twitter was like, I think like 08, 09 maybe.
Yeah, facts. I remember, bro. I was too young.
Or maybe like a couple years before that. But like I definitely had Twitter like my junior year of high school for sure at the absolute. Absolutely.
I had mine. I was a freshman, so
yeah. So I fear that they won't use it to its fullest capabilities because it can be bad. But I think to your point, it's kind of like, you know, what you using it for, who you around, what's the ultimate end goal of what you're trying to do with it. Because you got some kids who just, you know, they just want to be seen. They don't care like about, you know, remember hearing all the time growing up, like, you know, you're not just representing you when you step outside the house. Like, your last name is a representation of all of us in some shape, way, form, or fashion, you know?
Yeah.
And in life, I've even kind of, like, mishandled that. I won't call it a burden, but this, like, that opportunity to just kind of, like, be the example of be what, you know, my tribe and such has taught me. And so, with a lot of these kids, they get on this internet, they thinking, you know, all I gotta do is this and that, and I got everything I need in this world. But it's like, is that really what you need? You know, that's not necessarily everything that you even want to seek after. Sometimes, you know. So, yeah, just my fear is that they're misguided in their search for whatever they're finding for, because the internet is so, all right, especially now. You know, we used to hear it growing up, like, at 30. You got to be this, about that. I think now you finally starting to see, like, those even barriers being broken down. Like, you know, niggas is 40, 50 catching their first break and living it up and shit like that. And that's been happening our whole lives, whether we knew it or not.
Yeah.
You know, so I just hope that, yeah, to the ultimate point, these kids use these technologies for something other than personal gain, you know. And if you are using it for personal gain, like, just take that and just pass along some type of wisdom, some type of negative knowledge to make sure that, you know, we don't make the same mistakes twice. You know, that's ultimately, like, my biggest thing. It's just, like, make sure nobody repeats the same mistakes that you made, because it's easy to do that, whether it be yourself or somebody else. So, yeah, technology is crazy. It really is. And just how far it's advanced, like, from, you know, not being able to use your house phone and the internet at one point in time to, you could literally book a flight to Japan right now if you wanted to.
Yeah.
On your phone. Like, that's insane, you know. But, you know, it's brought us closer together, and so with that, we just got to be mindful of, like, what we saying, how we saying it, what we doing, how we doing it, because, believe it or not, somebody's watching, you know, whether it be the powers that be, somebody looking up to you, like, somebody's paying attention, and you just kind of gotta be aware of that shit. Otherwise, you just, I don't know, you selling yourself short, realistically, man. And you don't want to do that, given that you got so many opportunities in your hand with this internet shit and this technology shit. Like,